In this video, we will be reviewing the project start date data element. The project start date indicates a client is now being assisted by a specific project, and this field is required whenever a client is enrolled into a new project. The project type applicability is for all project types, and this is data that is collected about all clients. The collection point takes place at the project start, and the screens in HMIS which are applicable is the enrollment screen. It should be noted that each individual client in a household will have their own project start date. If a new client is added to a household after the original household members' start dates, the new client start date should reflect the actual day that client started the project. If this client is a newborn baby, the project start date would reflect the date the project started providing housing or services to the newborn. Consistent with the responses for project types identified in the next slide, which may be any date on or after the baby's date of birth. The date that is entered into HMIS for the data element project start date depends on the project type. Different project types use the project start date field differently, as there are differences in the meaning associated with starting in residential versus service and permanent housing projects. You can refer to the chart to understand what the project type start date would be based on the project type. In a street outreach project, the date of first contact with the client constitutes as the project start date. In an emergency shelter, the night the client first stayed in the shelter. Night-by-night shelters will allow clients to re-enter as necessary without exiting or restarting the client for each stay for a period of approximately 90 days. Although agencies may set their own policy for the length of the period, it should not exceed more than 90 days. For transitional housing or safe housing projects, the date the client moves into residential projects or the client's first night in the residence would be their project start date. In permanent housing, including rapid rehousing projects, the date client was determined eligible to either inform information provided by the client or referral indicates they meet admission criteria. The client has indicated that they want to be housed in that project, or the client is able to access services and housing through the project. As an example, project has an opening or soon will. In a services only project, the date the client first began working with the project and generally received provision of service would constitute as their project start date. In this demonstration, we will show how the project start date field can be located. In the example on the screen, we have client Winnie the Pooh, and we can navigate to their Programs tab to view the list of programs that are available for the client to be enrolled in. For the purposes of this example, we will select the COC-funded Family Coordinated Entry Training Project. By expanding the list and clicking on the drop-down, we can see the toggles that will let us include additional household members into the enrollment. Then we can click on the Enroll button, and we will see that at the top of the screen is the project start date field, specifying the January 3rd, 2023 date. Once the rest of the enrollment screen is completed, you can click on Save and Exit to save the enrollment.